I first heard about Nick's story during COVID. It was a time when there was no theater, and the documentary is just Nick on a stool telling his life story, and it felt to me like theater, like a one-man show. And he has such a theatrical way of speaking in a way that I've never heard anyone talk before.
Some of Nick's story is unbelievable if it wasn't true. You know, I'd watched the documentary and then I read his books, and it fills in much more, obviously, than the documentary can give. It makes your jaw drop.
Nick has a way of talking about his own life experience. He's just a natural storyteller. He lived 22 years in solitary confinement where his only companion were books, and so he almost speaks like a novelist would write.
What drew me to this play was that it was sort of a singular voice, which felt like it had a really good role for an actor at the centre of it. It felt very moving but funny. The sort of inherent storytelling at the centre of it made it very theatrical.
Knowing that it's a real story means that it holds a different kind of weight. The idea of time and what that means is really interesting, and we've definitely kind of looked at that in the work. One day can feel huge, then 3 years can go past, and Lindsey has definitely brought that into her writing in a really kind of brilliant, thoughtful way.
And Nick's story about living on death row is not just a story about miscarriage of justice. It's not just a story about the American, criminal legal system. I think it's about a man learning to talk about the experiences that he's been through, learning how to articulate himself in a way that is proactive for the course of his life. But it's also about love, and it's about heartbreak and how we talk to ourselves about ourselves.
It's ultimately a play about storytelling, but also about not taking for granted the banal things of life. When you live on death row, when you're in prison, when you've had that experience and you've had the basics of life held from you, the little things become important and are worth living and are worth experiencing and appreciating.
Collaborating with Justin is amazing. He works at unreal pace, but I think that means that the work is really responsive and active and alive.
He creates a room where actors have a voice, where we feel like we have a voice as well.
The Donmar has always been a place I've wanted to work. When I was at high school, my last year of high school, I did this massive project on why the Donmar was the most relevant theatre in the world at the time. And the idea of working here, I think, has just been so exciting. It's one of those weird things you think about when you're a kid, like going to Disneyland, and you never think it'll happen. And I feel overjoyed that I'm here doing it, and I have to pinch myself every now and again.